Hello, YouTube, Nightcrawler here. Oh, you weren't expecting the commentary video after all this time now, were you? Did you miss them? uh, oh, oh, fuck. Anyway, look, alright. I thought I'd go back to doing this form of content with a bang, and boy does it have the firepower. GTA Online, the 8-year-old repetitive toxic zombie that it is, still has life pumped into it occasionally by Rockstar. While a good part of the community preaches about how Rockstar has changed and that they've lost faith in them, an even larger part of the community is in ignorant bliss. They get one update that'll last them maybe 2 days before they ask for another, and the cycle repeats itself. So, that leaves us with Red Dead Online, and well, that's what this video is about. A bit of time ago, the RDO community stared at the corpse of the game they've been playing and banded together to create the hashtag #SaveRedDeadOnline. Now, you would have thought that this hashtag would disappear, but no. It gained traction like you wouldn't believe, getting the attention of all types of content creators to put a spotlight on Rockstar as to why. Why did they let RDO die? Why did they abandon it? Why did they not come back after getting cigarettes? The RDO community was getting the rightful support they needed, and it was nice to see. Until the children and the brainless attacked, of course. This is what I could get recently. It's about as long dead now. But at its height, the GTA Online community laughed and scolded and criticized the RDO community for the sheer amount of entitlement coming from them. Just the absolute gall of asking Rockstar to give them shit to do in their dead game that was abandoned with no rhyme or reason. It's sickening. Like, how dare your game get updates it deserved while GTA stars on this 8 years of content? Shame, cowpokes. Shame. Anyone with half a brain would see how stupid it was that the GTA community would try and criticize the RDO community for wanting Rockstar to give their game some love. The GTA community, who gets an update then a day later spams for another, while getting upset at the time taken between updates being rolled out, calling the game dead. The GTA community, who calls out Rockstar milking GTA 5 while buying it a third time for the third generation of consoles they've brought it to. The GTA community, who thinks their game that's been supported for 8 years will die without an update and have forgotten that thousands of other games exist and can be bought and played. The GTA community, who says Rockstar should do something new, but will criticize the community that's asking Rockstar to do something new by supporting their game. You see where I'm going with this. This community isn't bright by any means, which is what happens when your community is made up of squeakers and people who think they should crank the volume up on their bad music and have it played through their mic all session long, and you get it. One point that you may have heard when the arguing between the communities was hot was,
but RDO wasn't making Rockstar nearly enough money as GTA, so obviously they'd pay attention to GTA.
and here's why I tell you how awful of a point that is. If you don't see how stupid and greedy it is of Rockstar and Take-Two to have expected RDO to have the success of GTAO in 1 to 2 years, perhaps even sooner, then you shouldn't speak on the greed of Rockstar. Greed infecting Rockstar isn't new. Do you remember that GTA 5 is going to have a single player expansion? Oh, you don't? Well, it might have been because GTA Online killed it. Instead of letting the dough rise on GTAO while they worked on the expansion, they just shelved it entirely and went full steam ahead on the milking that is infamously known today. RDO wasn't abandoned from lack of potential or lack of players, no. It was abandoned because Rockstar is impatient for how often they want to see dollar signs. They don't want to put work in on something that can make them money because they lack an astounding amount of patience and faith. You can't expect people to buy your new product and have continued interest when you introduce it one day just to drop your tools and go back to your other money maker a week later. GTA Online was far from great at the start, okay? It was. But what did Rockstar do in the time span? Well, 2 years later, after content quality of life updates, they dropped Heist. And just kept going and going and going and going and going. They watered their plants and saw the fruits of their labor rising oh so pretty. Now, here's where they brought in a new plant and gave it a bit of water. And what did they continue to do? Did they continue watering it? Did they continue to care for it? Did they give it the love that it so desperately needed? No. They watered it maybe 2 times, stared at their golden cash plant, and decided to fuck off. Can you really expect people to buy your game when you can't even be bothered to care for it? Can you really actually criticize the RDO community for constantly putting pressure on Rockstar for an update when you can see what Rockstar has done to the reputation of RDO with just a quick Google search? I hope the GTA community has some semblance of self-awareness to where they ask themselves, hey, why are we pushing back against the community asking for their game to be cared for when we did the same thing back in 2013 for Heist for like, what was it, 2 years straight? Because this hashtag was RDO's Heist. This was their turn to call out Rockstar for negligence and absence of content. This was their turn to have their potential be utilized and become a moneymaker. This was their turn, and instead of being with them, the GTA community was against them. They have the nerve to call the Red Dead community entitled when they got up in arms over their game potentially not getting attention anymore. Probably gonna be their shining moment for a while, in my opinion. I mean, say what you will about the RDO community, but the fact that they're still going strong with hashtag is admirable, and they rightfully should. Rockstar is becoming a shadow of themselves and losing all of its identity. Save Red Dead Online, I think, later down the line will forever be a reminder to us all. An example of how not even the supposed good guys can resist the smell of green. Now, me personally, I can't resist talking about topics I like, but I gotta end this one here. Even talking about what happened with RDO now gives me thoughts about what could have been and what unfortunately was. If you want to stick around and wait for a whole year before I make another video like this, you can begin by subscribing and also share if you want others to join that long ass wait. I'm Nightcrawler, and good night.